This is the formation lap. Everyone coming out. Everyone having a pretty good getaway. That Haas going quite wide. So we see everyone with a good getaway. There we go. So now we're all set up for the race. Getting a bit wide there. Obviously with cold tyres you're going to get like lockups and stuff. I think everyone's starting on the tyres they qualified on. So we'll see if anyone hasn't, and then I get a quali ban for the next race. So not being able to qualify means that you don't actually get a time. You probably start last on the grid. So I think that's what happened to Lucas 08 FC last race, from crashing into another driver and not leaving a gap, meaning that both of them were out of the race. And I think they got that's why they got that's why they couldn't actually start the race. So as you can see, no more Despised, and instead of him is Alpha. Oh, that's probably Despised anyway, just in a different name, because I remember seeing on some of the messages that he was going to use that account. I think that may be it, but I'll just call him by Alpha. So seeing everyone forming up again, trying to pick up as much traction as possible, trying to get as much get the tyres warm, get the tyres ready for the race. I'm going to form up again. So further down the grid we can see everyone's starting to get ready to line up. We're going to go back to the leader, who's forming up for the start. So lining up, we're waiting for everyone to line up on the grid. Hopefully the race doesn't crash. Hopefully I don't have really bad luck again, as got a yellow flag at the back. Everyone's starting to 5 red lights and we're away, and that's a pretty good getaway from DPT Luca, who actually gets further up in the standings. So apparently O Street Gamer has actually gone back in the timing, but I don't think that's right. I think that's a mess up from the timing, and we can see lots of, so we're on board with DPT Luca, and I think that timing, there we go, now the timing is back to normal. We can see EOR Hamilton moving up in the standings. Ivanhoe, I think he's out. I think that's out for Ivanhoe, and I want to see what happens. I think that's they hit each other. I don't think there's that much contact from DPT Luca, but there's a safety car now, and so we're going to watch everyone now slow down and form up for the safety car. So that's Ivanhoe out of the race. That's very disappointing for him, because I think he did actually have pretty good race last race. So it's a really interesting start to the Grand Prix. See them catching up with the safety car. It actually gives them a bit of a chance to actually warm up their tyres properly, and it means that now we only have a one stop and people are pitting now. So you see AlphaTauri of Sumai actually coming into the pits. Let's see if he has a good pit stop. So he comes in onto mediums, coming in pretty fast pit stop. I mean, it's decent. DPT Aaron also coming in. So now they actually should go on until around lap 22. So it's a front wing change for SJM, so he may have had contact with, you can see a 5-second penalty for Matt2388, and I think SJM was the one who had contact with the Ferrari of Iwan Ninho. So back up with DPT Luca behind the safety car. This should only be a short safety car, I think, because track has already been cleared. Obviously now we're only down to only 14 drivers, so only 14 drivers left on the track. You can see everyone taking, you get extra fuel from this, so you can put it into lean mix, and you can get extra fuel to actually burn off in rich mix to get yourself an advantage almost over everyone. And your tyres don't get that much wear either, so I don't know why I actually pitted, because there wasn't that much point. I didn't see he had damage, and I don't think DPT Aaron did either, so I don't know why they would pit. Maybe they wanted to pit onto the mediums. So we can see EOR Hamilton there probably spinning out. We'll see if he's spun out now. Yeah, he's spun out and picking up some rubber, so maybe he's retiring from the race. No, he's just come back out, and I am quite confused as to what he is doing. He's now dropped down quite a few places, and now we can see Matt2388 actually coming into the pits. So him spinning has caused him to actually come into the pits again. So he's now changing to a new front wing. So front of the pack, everyone's weaving and to get as much grip and traction as possible. Go down to SJM, and EOR Hamilton is now retired from the Grand Prix, so maybe he had a bit of a problem, and that's why he, as you could see earlier, he actually came off the track and it slowed down massively, and that was quite a weird moment because you couldn't tell what was wrong, because he started going again and you thought there was nothing wrong. So he's now retired as well, so that's 2 bad results in a row from EOR Hamilton. So now we're down to 13 drivers. You can see Ferrari. So the top 3 are the Williams of DPT Luca, the Alfa Romeo of Osku Gamer, and the Ferrari of Alpha's Bent. And so DPT Luca actually having a really great start and actually got the advantage. He must have had a really good getaway and actually got the advantage over Osku Gamer. So that's actually a really good start for him, and he's going to want to carry that into the rest of the Grand Prix and try and get a good result out of this. Obviously we have pit strategies to play through, and obviously with more safety cars and expected, so that may be a bit of a weird, it may be an exciting race, so we'll see about this. So the time is now obviously 6:50 UK time, so we're going on really late in the Grand Prix, so I think the safety car is in, so now we'll see if DPT Luca actually gets a good getaway from this. Now we're on the restart, and is there, so you can see everyone going for, you see DPT Aaron coming into the pits once again, so maybe he's retiring. We'll see now. Comes in for a front wing change again. That's his 3rd pit stop, or his 2nd pit stop so far, and it's only lap 4. So DPT Luca still in the lead. If we go further down, you can see SJM and Matt2388 actually having a bit of a battle there. Ellis Lefty, by the way, actually gone down a few places. So that's quite disappointing for him. He may want to actually now push quite a bit to get back up there. So on board with PSR Mac, on board with him. Got a bit of a gap to the car ahead and the car behind, so almost 1 second between him and the car ahead and 2 seconds between him and the car behind. So he's got quite a bit of clean air out there. You can hear him downshifting, obviously not using automatic, and taking manual probably on the steering wheel or controller. So we can see we saw there he had a bit of a lock up. Just saw as we started to move down, he actually had a bit of a lock up. So that's quite worrying. Even though it's lap 5, the tyres should be warm, and also they shouldn't be that warm. So that may be a bit of a worry. So on board with Lucas 08FC. He is defending from Sumai. You'll see him trying to make a move. I'm going on board with him now, trying to make the move down the inside, and he makes it. And let's see if he makes it stick. He's going around the next corner and actually gets up into 7th position. But that was a really good move down the inside and getting up a position. So that's put him even further into the points. So that's really good from him. You can see LS Lefty, by the way, moving back up just on the straight, and so he's used his DRS to get back up a position. But Oscar Gamer, we can see, has now actually gotten into the lead of the Grand Prix. I didn't actually see that earlier, and so now we see that he is in the lead by almost a second. So now we can see the McLaren of LS Lefty, by the way. He's gone out wide. I think he may be retiring. Now we can see DBT Luca actually pitting. So he obviously may have, you can see fastest sector from Oscar Gamer. So DBT Luca may have had front wing damage, so we'll see if he had any damage. Yes, and he changes his front wing. So that obviously means that he has had a bit of an issue and an altercation, maybe with Oscar Gamer, maybe smashed into the back of him or something, and has now, so we can see again DPT Aaron coming in again. So he obviously going for a drive-through penalty. So he had obviously come off the track and done a dangerous driving of some sort, and has actually had to do a drive-through. I didn't see him actually coming into the pits, so may mean that it was a battle. That may mean that he may have had a penalty for running off track or something. Now on board with PSR Steve, and he is trying to attack, only 3/10 separating him and EJO Stig, who is in second after DBT Luca's pit stop. So he is trying to make the move down the inside, and now he has DRS coming into the next corner and the next straight, the home straight, or pit straight as you would call it. So he now has really good exit out of that corner and actually gets an advantage, and really attacking here and trying to make the move, but he's finding it difficult actually, because EJO Stig has actually got the advantage in the corners. I think PSR Steve actually has the advantage in the straight because he's behind him and has less aerodynamic drag. So you see he's catching up massively, and is he going to make the move down the inside? He's going to push and late braking, and doesn't make the move stick, and and maybe he can get the inside line and runs off track and gains an advantage. So that may be a penalty for him. And there's a spin, we can see a spin there from Alpha's bench, so that may be disappointing for him. And I think he just spun. He didn't hit the barrier, I don't think. So see if this is a retirement. Don't think it is. I think he's just going to carry on running. He's still ghosted, so I think he may retire. So this quite disappointing for him. Will he stop, or he's still ghosted? So this is quite interesting to see. We'll see if he pulls over. Just carry on up to the battle, still going on. So it's now a three-way battle because now PSR Mac is getting involved. So it is really a racing point sandwich with a Renault inside the middle. So the Renault trying to attack on one car but then defend at the same time. He gets a really, really good exit and tries to make the move into the pit, into the back straight. He doesn't get a big enough advantage, but late braking going into that corner, and he makes I think that was he should let that place back, I think, because that wasn't very sportsmanlike. He did hit the back wheel. Now cuts in front of PSR Mac, trying to make the move down the inside. So he's let the position back, obviously, or probably been attacked too much, and he hadn't got overtaken again. He tries to make the move down the inside again of EJO Stig. So obviously EJO Stig wanting to get a good result like last race. So see down the straight, now we can see Osku Gamer actually coming into pit. PSR Steve for the lead of the Grand Prix. So we can see EJO Steve. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be back with you in a minute. So we're lap 9 out of 27, EJO Stig. There's a bit of contact there, but PSR Steve stays in front of PSR Mac. So we makes a bit of contact with EJOS 5S Stig. And so now the pack has really lengthened out. So we'll see if how long the EJOS 5S Stig and PSR Steve can stay at the front of the pack. So with the advantage down the straights, now I think there's a safety car. It's a safety car, and he's had to pull back because JM has now obviously has retired from the Grand Prix. So you'll see this Maxime Peleg. I think he's also made pull over, but he's really low gear actually. So on board with DVT Aaron trying to have a look. So I think just SJM just pulled up into the pits. Yeah, he pulled up into the pits and just retired. So we can see Maxime Perleg actually just slowing down because he's got needing to slow down because his delta is a bit too fast. So DBT Luca and DBT Aaron both there. We can still see Alpha is bent, still on ghosted mode. So you can still see him on ghosted mode. EJO 5S Stig on there, and we can see that's DBT Luca out of this Grand Prix. Disappointing for him. So see if we can maybe have a good look at. No, we can't see now. So EJO 5S Stig actually coming into the pits now, and so see if he gets a good pit stop. Coming in, doesn't need a front wing change, and gets away in 8th. So I think he'll stay there. Yeah, he'll stay there, and so he's now got quite a bit of clean air. Only 5 seconds of clean air between him and Osku Gamer, and another 5 seconds between him, EJOS 5S Stig and Alpha has been. So you can see PSR Mac at the front of the pack making the move, and we'll see if PSR Steve can. So we'll go on board with him, see if how this plays out, because he'll have the advantage on the straights, I think, and he actually catches up massively, and probably putting it into rich mix and putting on the overtake mode, trying to get down the inside now. He just doesn't have enough power and tries to go down the inside of this corner, makes a bit of contact. That's really, really good racing here from them. So we can see DBT Aaron still coming into the pits again. So we can see EJO 5S Stig. They're both coming into the pits at the same time and actually making a bit of contact while they come into the pits. So that's quite interesting. So they're both going to be fighting when they come out of the pits. So Swim Eye now in front. Swim Eye having to hold out the front of the pack because obviously his teammates retiring. He's the only AlphaTauri rate driver left. So so is Maxime Perleg, who also is the last Red Bull left, and he's revving really weirdly. So maybe having a bit of problems with his gear. Now you can see the pit window is now open. So so that means that we'll see a lot more pit stops from all of them. So both DBT Aaron definitely, you can see behind him, he's going to get overtaken by the fast driver. So he's already been overtaken by Sumai and Matt2388, and we'll see if he gets overtaken again by Osku Gamer. We still have Sumai to come into the pits. He's not coming into the pits yet, so obviously nursing his tyres and hasn't have to come in. And you can see behind him Matt2388. I think he has already pitted as well, so he actually has an advantage over Oscar Gamer. See Lucas 08FC coming into the pits now. We'll see if he gets a good pit stop. Follow him along. You can see DBT Aaron getting lapped by Oscar Gamer. So there's a few. Oh, he's got a 5-second time penalty, so they're waiting to put on the hard. So he may do the one stop. He may do the one stop for this race, and so Maxime Perleg actually coming out ahead of him. DBT Aaron at the back of the pack, almost 1 minute 32 seconds off the car ahead. So he is not doing that well, I guess. So all top three drivers actually new to this racing series, so they've all not raced in the first round, so make things interesting. So now Sumai coming in for his pit stop. So we'll see if he gets a good pit stop. So he's still got a 3-second over, and now Matt2388 in the lead of the Grand Prix, and I think he's got a 5-second time penalty, probably for speeding in the pit lane. So now they are allowed to now actually put on the hards. So we can see Alpha is Ben actually trying to make a move on Maxime Perleg, but now he's coming in for his pit stop, and we'll see Maxime Perleg overtaking him once again. So now the only person really close to anyone is PSR Mac, who has only an 0.7 gap to the car ahead, who is his teammate EJO5S Stick. So we'll see if he can get him on after this chicane, and now he comes down, see if he can make the move. He won't be able to make it on this straight, but if he can get it into this sweeping corner and get a big enough advantage, he may be able to make the move into the next set of corners. So you can see he's coming out with a decent exit and having a bit of a lock up there. You heard the actual skidding of the tyres when they've locked up, and you can see again he's locking up massively on the hards, which are probably cold tyres. So fighting for the top three, the podium positions. So both teammates fighting for the top positions, and every single corner you can hear that tyre lock up. So the cold tyres of the hards really messing him about. You can hear again just a tiny little squeal again, and another one. So he's either braking really hard, and you can see it again. So these tyres will not last long if he keeps doing that. Comes through onto the straight, getting a good advantage and catching up quite a few bits of time, and actually now only 6/10 split them. So he gets a bit of a worse exit than his teammate, and is now 7/10 behind. So he's the only one who's relatively near anyone else. So they're fighting for probably the last points position. You see loads of people being lapped though, of course. So we'll move on to EJO5S Stick, on board with him, and he's obviously defending from PSR Mac. You can see another lockup back there from PSR Mac. So 4 retirements so far, and so the only person out of the points is DPT Aaron. So the Williams both not having a very good day here. Probably having the best day is Racing Point, who we are watching right now. Both EJO5S Stig and PSR Mac are high up in the points, so they may have a very good result today. And see them actually now not that big of an advantage now from EGO5S Stig, so he has to defend pretty hard if he wants to keep up in positions. So currently out in front is Matt 2388 in the black Mercedes Benz. So he has got only a 4-second advantage to Osku Gamer, but he may have to pit again because he pitted pretty early in the race and on hard, so he may be able to go to the last few laps. So we only have 10 laps remaining, and so he may want to go to maybe lap 20 to pit onto the mediums, maybe, or even the softs may last 7 laps. So 17 laps done in this race, and we are quite very over time actually. Probably the race should have already been finished by now. Obviously with that technical issue we have had to delay the race a bit because we had to restart. Most of the drivers were actually put into their right position, so that's really good from the stewards. So the rest of this race will be quite interesting to see because we still have probably one more pit stop from Matt 2388. So he's doing a 2-stop, and OSKU Gamer wanting to get an advantage, and he's on the mediums, so you can see the yellow marks on the side of his tyres, and there's only a 2.9 second gap between them. So coming into the back part of the track and coming into those tight corners, you can see PSR Mac actually had made the move on EJ05S Stig, but had a lock-up, meaning he would have closed the gap. But now running wide was EJ05S Stig, and he's dropped back a little, so there's only 6/10 still gap between them. And now we go on to Maxime Perleg having a pit stop, and now coming back out, and he's still ahead of the Ferrari of Alfa Romeo and ahead of the Williams of DPT Aaron. So in 9th, still not that good result for him. Obviously we still have 9 laps remaining, so we'll see if this carries on well. So both Ferrari and Williams having not a very good day today, and the Sumai is actually compensating for his teammates' bit of almost demise, where he's retired from the Grand Prix, and so in 6th is Sumai. Now he's go on board with EJ05S Stig, who actually did make the move back on PSR Max, so there's a really good battle going on between them. Every few laps there's a overtake to do or something like that. So now there's only a 1 second gap between OSKU Gamer, and you can see just at the front of our screen, you could just about see Matt 2388, so both of them having a good little battle there. So only 1.3 seconds split them, and obviously him being on the medium tyres, he has a shorter gap of laps to actually catch up and then make the move, but he is faster. So see if he can catch up. Now only 1 second remaining, splitting them, and now only 8/10, so he is really catching up to him. So but as you can see now, we saw Matt 2388 actually coming into the pits. him having a pretty good pit stop, and he may still be able to make it out in front of now both of the Racing Point drivers actually getting ahead. So you can now see that PSR Matt 2388 is coming out in 6th, and so that's really good for him, and so he hasn't lost that many places. So with a really big gap in front of EJ05 Stig is Osku Gamer, who actually started the race in pole, but then actually DBT Luca had overtaken him, but now he's at the back of the pack. 52 seconds splitting him and Alpha is bent, so he's probably been overtaken quite a few times by Osku Gamer, so maybe having a technical issue, but not wanting to retire because there's only 11 drivers, and if somebody else retires, then he gets into the points. And so you can see that the gap between Osku Gamer, he's now coming into the pits, and probably on his last pit stop, I don't know if he's going to pit onto mediums or softs, so we're going to watch him as he pits into the Alfa Romeo box. EJ05S Stig and PSR Mac now both coming past the pit straight. See if they can, and now he goes into the softs, so Osku Gamer goes onto the softs, and so he's going to drop back to behind the AlphaTauri of Sumai in 6th, so ahead of the McLaren by a few seconds. So now we have a battle between the top two, which are EJ05S Stig and PSR Mac. There's only a few milliseconds splitting them, so you can see the top part of the pack are quite compacted. You can see only now a few seconds splitting them. There's only a difference of maybe 3 seconds, 2 seconds. So we can see getting really close is PSR Mac, and now 2/10 split them. He's going to get a really good exit out of that corner, and you saw Osku Gamer making the move on Sumai, and not getting a good enough launch out of that corner means that EJ05S Stig actually he's now lengthened his gap. He's lengthened his gap to PSR Mac to 5/10. So he is actually having still on good tyres, both of them on hard tyres, so they may not have to pit again. You can see a bit of a slide out and a drift out onto the curbing. It's PSR Mac, so it's now almost a gap forming. There's only now 4/10 splitting them. Now the gap's closed now on the straight. You saw a bit of a big lock up for PSR Mac. See Mac 2388 making the move on PSR Steve, and so there's a small gap between them, and he's going to make the move sticking to the next chicane, and you're going to keep up there in 3rd. So podium positions currently are EJ05S Stig, PSR Mac, and Mac 2388. So Osku Gamer right up the back end of, and makes the move actually on PSR Steve. So he is currently falling his way back up the pack. Only 8/10 now splitting him and Matt 2388. So they are both gonna try, and so he's actually now Osku Gamer being on the soft has set the fastest 2nd sector. So earlier in the race he had set the fastest 3rd sector, and now he's set the fastest 2nd sector. So on the soft he is very quick. So only 3/10 splitting them, and you see DBT Aaron now out of this Grand Prix. So there's only 10 runners left, so Now it's is that a virtual safety car or a safety car? I can't tell. I think that may be a virtual safety car now. So can't see the safety car coming out of the pits again. So it may only be a virtual because he may have stopped on a safe part of the track where it's not that fast. See, now the pack actually compacts into each other, so it's a VSC. So VSC is now slowing down the pack. Only 4 laps remaining. There's only 4 laps remaining now, and so you can see that Lucas 08FC actually pitting again. So he moves down, and it's now green flag. So green flag, and now the pack, the first top 7 are quite close together. So it's going to be quite close between them. But obviously, Swim Eye and LS Lefty, by the way, are back a bit by only 3 seconds. So see a big lock up there from PSR Mac, who actually made the move on EJ5S Stig. And so the top 3 are really close together. Now there's a 3-way battle here, and maybe even a 4-way battle if Matt 2388 can actually catch up. So that's a really good battle going on there. Now there's only a few tenths splitting each other. PSR Steve dropping back a little and giving the top 4 a bit of an advantage, and making it a 4-way battle. So not a 5-way battle, because PSR Steve is backed off a little. So he's in clean air. PSR Steve is in clean air now. PSR Steve we are on board with now. We're gonna just sit there really, because now you can see Osku Gamer actually. Oh, and that's really good battle going on. Now we can see EJO's S5S Stig actually coming off the track and letting his teammate by, or maybe he got overtaken with a better launch from PSR Mac, but then Matt2388 actually making the move on Osku Gamer, who had actually got up into second in that chicane. So he's going to try and make the move and actually get it down the inside of that sweeping corner at the back of the track. So that's good racing from all of them. And so, but all of them are splitting up from PSR Steve. There's 2 seconds between them. And there's the maximum is 4 tenths from Osku Gamer and Matt2388. So this is a really good battle going on here, and it's going to go into the last few laps of the race. There's only 2 laps remaining, and so we can see almost a 3-way going into that corner. You see Osku Gamer coming up into second, Matt2388 getting past EJ5S Stig, and so into the next chicane. They're all like in a single file behind each other, and this is really, really good racing here. Really exciting actually. And they come out onto the back straight. 7/10 gap now between going up every time, so 8/10 now between EJ5S Stig and Matt2388. So he's probably dropping back because he's seen that his tyres are pretty worn. Obviously fighting for position, you can't actually change it, and you can't like not go on, not reduce tyre wear because you have someone chasing you all the time. So he's had to back off now and let them past him. And you can see Osku Gamer trying to make the move around the outside. Now gets the inside into the next corner and goes side by side. This is really good side by side racing. Coming to the next corner, still side by side. Now PSR Max still has the advantage, but now down the inside goes Osku Gamer, and with a big lockup from PSR Matt, that means he goes into the lead of the Grand Prix. And Matt2388 now close behind PSR Matt, only 2 tenths separating him. And he's gonna try and make the move down the inside, and has a good advantage, and not down the inside, he's not going to get it, and around the outside of the next corner, and obviously being in the inside, PSR Matt gets the position back. See a big lock up there from PSR Matt and Matt 2388 almost getting the move done, but now around the outside goes PSR Matt. So now Osku Gamer actually gets an advantage and sees that he has 2 seconds gap between him and the cars behind. So both Matt 2388 making the move up into the head of PSR Matt. So PSR Steve now also catching up to all of them and has now made it a 4-way battle for third, a 3-way battle for third, a 4-way battle for third actually, sorry. And so they're all gonna try and get up in second as PSR Mac, but not being able to make the move into that sweeping corner, and he doesn't get a very good advantage coming into the next few corners. So this is the quite hard braking section where his tyres aren't doing very well. They keep locking up, so obviously something going on there. And you see on board with EJO5S Stig trying to make the move down the inside and actually gets the move done. And so we're on board with PSR Mac, who's going alongside PSR Steve, and so the racing points have been in a lot of action today. See almost 3-way fighting, a 2-way into the corner, and now PSR Steve gets up into 4th. Behind them, LS Lefty, by the way, gets past Swim I, and they're really close together, and this is a good 2-way battle between them. This is the last lap of the Grand Prix, so I think Osku Gamer may take the win, and we'll see if now EJO5S Stig actually falling back a little, and so there's a bit of a gap between him and Matt 2388. So Matt 2388 may get second place. We'll see who gets third place though, because this may go into the last few corners. Last few corners of the Grand Prix may be very exciting. So we see behind PSR Steve, PSR Matt coming up behind him and not being able to make the move into the sweeping corner, but now around the sweeping corner he can maybe go get around the inside and gets a really good advantage and tries to go around the outside of the next quite tight corner. But now PSR Steve actually pulls ahead and gets a really good exit around that corner, and now is attacking EJO5S Stig. So they're all having a really good battle here, and I think now EJO5S Stig, now we can see Osku Gamer celebrating and winning the Grand Prix, Matt 238 in second, and EJO5S Stig actually coming in second, Matt 2388 coming in third, PSR Steve in fourth, PSR Mac in sixth after PS Swim I, LS Lefty by the way. Then comes, now we have a bit of a gap between him and Maxime Perleg, and Perleg is coming around the last few corners. So we'll see Alpha is bent, coming in last. Of course, he's still got points, he's still got 1 point on the board. So obviously getting a lap a few times, all of them getting laps. So see Alpha is bent coming around the corner, and now the last two drivers, Maxime Perleg in 8th and in 9th is Lucas 08 FC. So a good race for Osku Gamer, who had started the race in first. You can see Lucas 08 FC just slowing down and hitting the wall at the end. So finishing the race, of course. And that's it for the Grand Prix. So the winner of this Grand Prix is Osku. So Osku Gamer wins the Grand Prix with almost a really outstanding result for him. So he gets 25 points in this race. See, in second is PSR EJO5S Stig, and in third is Matt 2388. So as you can see, everyone in the top place, in the top few places, is getting penalties. The only person not getting a penalty or nobody didn't get penalties. So everyone, Osku Gamer coming in first, EJ05S Stig, and then Matt2388. And obviously PSR Steve in fourth, fifth Swim Eye, PSR Mac. So good result for BWT Racing points. And obviously Alfa Romeo getting the winner, so they also get 25 points into their constructors standings. So thank you for watching with me. Hope to see you next time. Goodbye.